I can't believe I'm making this video. Trudeau now claiming that without the carbon tax, Canada would no longer have white Christmases. Climate denialism, he's calling it, and this is on the House of Parliament floor. I don't even know what to say to this. Let's just play the video.
Climate denialism of the Conservative Party of Canada is putting future white Christmases at risk, and that's why on this side of the House we stand for Christmas.
Now, I mean, there's a couple of things there. We stand for Christmas. Does Trudeau stand for Christmas? Because I know he doesn't stand for a lot of religious things, especially when it comes to Christian religious things. We just had recently his ban on prayer at the Remembrance Day ceremonies. That was reversed because of the unpopularity of it. There was such public outcry due to it. Back in 2018, Trudeau asked religious Canadians to betray their conscience for federal funding. He made them vow that they're for abortion in order to get public funding for their events that they wanted to do. And then, this is under the woke Trudeau Canada. Even the Girl Guides, I know it's a private institution, but it's largely due to the push that Trudeau has been pushing, is getting rid of Christmas, and they're ditching Santa Claus. They're not joining the Santa Claus parade because somehow Santa Claus is super religious. But no, Trudeau is making this prediction because he's saying that it's a climate thing. If we didn't have that carbon tax, then it wouldn't snow in December in Canada, especially at the end of December. No way. And this is hilarious because, I mean, these types of predictions have been made in the past. And well, here's Al Gore making one of his famous predictions from back in 2009. This is what he had to say.
That there is a 75% chance that the entire North Polar ice cap during some of the summer months could be completely ice-free within the next 5 to 7 years.
Yeah, well, it's been a lot more than 5 to 7 years since that prediction, and that 75% turned into a whole lot of hogwash. It is not actually what, no, not even close. Really, really bad predictions. And there's been lots of bad predictions for a long time. If warming is not checked, says the UN back in 1989, apparently entire nations would be wiped off the face of the earth by rising sea levels if the global warming trend is not reversed by 2000. What? We're 23 years later, and none of those things have been done, and they didn't reverse nothing. They didn't reverse anything. But this is the unhinged prime minister saying that we stand with Canada, or we stand with Christmas. This is his message. I don't even know what to say, but Pierre Poilievre sure does. I mean, they're laughing at him. They didn't even say this.
The Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, that has to be the angriest and most caustic Christmas message I've ever seen. This is a guy, he hasn't phased out coal despite his theatrics over there, Mr. Speaker. What he's doing is phasing out food because Canadians can't afford it. Now, as he raises carbon taxes on the wonderful farmers that bring it to our table, why won't he axe the tax on farmers so that Canadians can eat, heat, and house themselves? And why doesn't he be a little less like Scrooge and a little more like Santa Claus?
Too funny, but this is the banter. This is the back and forth at the House of Commons in Canada. It's, of course, this is, of course, the question period where it's basically a passive-aggressive pass the buck and political banter that they end up using later for their social media. And, of course, here's Pierre Poilievre using a bit from today, talking about this little back and forth. Here's another clip.
The media didn't cover our fall economic statement as much as we would have liked last week because they were so busy talking about what a terrible week the Conservative Party had.
Actually, it was quite fortunate for for Justin Trudeau that they didn't talk about the fall economic statement because it was rubbish. Let's just put it there. Really, really terrible. Not a very good outlook moving forward for him. But anyway, here's the reply.
They were so busy talking about what a terrible week the Conservative Party had.
Well, maybe he should just give the media even more money to cover the news how he'd like it, Mr. Speaker, because we know he's so desperate.
That is really funny because Trudeau actually, over what it was last year, $1.4 billion to the CBC and also gave out so much more money to other news agencies in order to get good coverage of Trudeau and his policies. And of course, they obliged up until he passed C-18, and now they're not saying such nice things about him anymore.
Desperate to debate me on the carbon tax, a debate he's been losing badly. Canadians overwhelmingly want him to axe the tax. That's why he panicked and flip-flopped to take the tax off for a short time, and only for those people who are in a region where he's plummeting in the polls and his caucus is revolting. With 2 million Canadians forced to go to a food bank, will he stop thinking about buying himself better news coverage and start thinking about the Canadians who have to buy themselves better food?
Yeah, pretty damning that is. Now, the Liberals ran a campaign ad because this is exactly what they do. They say their little speech and then they put it up. This is what the Liberals had to put up on Justin Trudeau.
On this side of the House, we can affirm clearly that we will stand with Ukraine with everything necessary for as long as necessary. As we saw last week, no Conservative politician can say the same in this House.
So now he's scripted and he's got his thing. Now most people are pointing out this speech, which sounds a little less hinged, a little more unhinged. Trudeau talking about the same thing.
That we will and have to stand every single day until Ukraine wins this war. That we will.
Yeah, a little bit of a different message for a different crowd, isn't it? It's really strange what we see here. Now, here's Trudeau referring to Canadian Conservatives as MAGA? Really? Melissa putting this out on Twitter. Really? Is this really something we're doing in Canada?
It has become glaringly obvious to everyone, except for certain MAGA conservatives, that the fight against climate change is a fight for the future.
Right, a fight against climate change is a fight for the future of predictions that won't come true. But what is a MAGA conservative in Canada? I'm going to leave that question for everybody in the audience here. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Honestly, what is a MAGA conservative in Canada? I want to remind people, and I would like to remind the Prime Minister of Canada, who admittedly is terrible at counting numbers. How about acronyms? Can you work on acronyms? Make America Great Again is the acronym for MAGA. What part of conservatism in Canada wants to make America great again? If anything, we'd want to make Canada great after 8 years of Trudeau. Yeah, it's not great. It's not great here. But there's no MAGA in Canada. I think you need to get over this one. Of course, this is the thing that Trudeau's been saying. They're bringing America-style politics to Canada. Who has unhinged speeches about MAGA Republicans? Yeah, that would be an American politician. I think it's Trudeau is bringing American-style politics to Canada. Anyway, leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think about his prediction about white Christmases no longer being a thing in Canada. Do you think that one's going to be short-lived? I think it will be. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think, and we'll see you in the next one. Keep on trucking.